Lesson 50, 50A, quadratic formula, or actually equations. Let's start with equations first. X squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. If I need to find the roots or the solution of this equation, I will have a binomial x and x. C is positive. That means both my signs follow the sign of B, and that's going to be positive, positive. And I need to think of two numbers. If I multiply them together, they're 6. And if I add them together, they will be 5. These two numbers are
2 and 3.
2 and 3. And the whole thing equal to 0. Either the first binomial will equal to 0, so x plus 2 equals 0. That means x equals to negative 2. Or x plus 3 equal to 0. That means my x equals negative 3. And these will be the solution for my equations. We're going to learn a way today to solve quadratic equation with a method that the name of that method is completing the square. 50B, completing the square. And we use this way when we cannot guess these two numbers. The one that we multiply, they will be 6, and if we add them, they will be 5. If I give you this equation, a x squared plus 6x plus 6 equals 0, and I want to put two binomial, I cannot have two numbers multiplied together, they're 6, and if I add them together, they will be 6. Because if I can do 1 times 6 is 6, but 1 plus 6 is 7. If I do 2 and 3, the sum will be 5. So therefore, I have to use a different method to solve these two roots. So with completing the square, what you're going to do, x squared plus 6x. You're going to take this 6 to the other side, and you're going to put it as negative 6. So the first part that you take this 6, and you take it, move it to the other side. Then you're going to take your b, and this is your b, 6. You're going to divide it by 2 and square it. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Squared will be 9, and you need to add that 9 to both sides here. Plus 9 plus 9. Square root the first term, which is x. Get the sign from your b, which is positive. Square root 9, and that would be 3, and everything squared. If you FOIL this using perfect square, that would be x squared plus 2 times the first time the second, which is 6x, plus 3 squared, which is 9. So this whole binomial is what we have here. Then you have 9 minus 6 is 3. Square root both sides. So the square and the square root is gone. So here you have left x plus 3 equals positive negative square root of 3. Move the 3 to the other side, and x will be negative 3 positive negative square root of 3. So your two roots are x equals negative 3 plus square root of 3, and x equals negative 3 negative square root of 3. These are the two solutions for this formula, for this equation. Let's get another one. B, 5x plus x squared minus 7 equals 0. First thing, we need to rearrange the problem. X squared has to go first, plus 5x minus 7 equals 0. I cannot think of two numbers. If I multiply them together, they're 7, and then you subtract them from each other, they will be 5. Therefore, I have to use completing the square method. X squared first, plus 5x, leave space here, equal sign, Move your 7 to the other side, and it's going to become positive 7. Take your b, which is 5, divide it by 2, and square both sides. That will be 25 over 4. Add it to both sides here, plus 25 over 4, 25 over 4. Square root the first term, x. Get the sign from the second term, positive. So if the sign was negative, you're going to put negative here. Square root the last term, which is 5 over 2. And that was your b over 2. Square the whole thing. Equals. Here I have fraction and whole number, so I have to have a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply here by 4, divide by 4, and that will be 25 plus 28 over 4. Simplify. X plus 5 over 2 squared. 25 and 28 is 53 over 4. Square root both sides. Square root with the square root is gone. So I have x plus 5 over 2 equal positive negative square root of 53 over square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2, and I'm going to move that 5 to the other side. So my answer will be x equals negative 5 positive negative square root of 53 over 2. One more example. Let us see. X squared minus 4x positive 1 equals 0. So we have x squared first, minus 4x. Leave space. Take this one to the other side, it will become negative 1. Take your b, 4 over 2 squared. That will be 2 squared. That will be 4. So I need to add 4 to both sides. Square root the first term, x. Get the sign from the next term, negative. Square root 4 is 2, everything squared. Equals 4 minus 1 is 3. Square root both sides. The square and the square root is gone. So you have x minus 2 equals positive negative square root of 3. Move the 2 to the other side. So x equals 2 positive negative square root of 3. That's all for lesson 15.